words giver's gain can get you into all kinds of trouble if you don't understand the 7 principles of giver's gain. Right? I'm going to touch on giver's gain, infinite giving, and then I'm going to segue into a very practical way to maximize giver's gain, which is to not waste your time and other people's time with a one-to-one. Okay? So no one-to-ones is if that's all you hear, we shouldn't do one-to-ones because they're a waste of time. Okay, everybody got that? That's not where we're going. Just want to see if you're paying attention to all that stuff. Giver's gain is more than a phrase. It's a way of living one's life. It's a perspective to view and interact with the world. It's an attitude, not an expectation. When it's applied properly, it will change your life, and when it changes enough lives, it will change the world. I believe that to be true because I know my life was changed through giver's gain and BNI when I lost 60% of my practice overnight when Hockey Canada announced that hockey's done in Canada. You're like, wow, this is kind of a big deal. That happened in the middle of March. By the beginning of April, of the 10 solid clients I had, some I recommended pause my service, others had to end my services, which forced me to reinvent myself by the beginning of April because I have 4 kids, 3 dogs, my wife, and I'm the sole provider, so it's time to get busy. So that's when I would reach out to a BNI member and I would say, I've got an idea, could we book a one-to-one for the sole purpose of me telling you what I'm up to? And that really was when BNI went from a good idea to a great idea. Because people would naturally say, of course, Scott, as a fellow BNI member, let's have a one-to-one, and I'd love to hear what you're up to, okay? And at that point, I had done enough of investing in people's lives that they were happy to take my call and say, how can I help? Because rarely am I getting on a one-to-one and asking for help. I'm wanting to add value, and I'll speak to that. That's when, and it's one of the principles, is it's okay to gain, all right? However, if that's all you heard of giver's gain, you're going to be in trouble as a BNI member. It's okay to gain, but there's some other principles here. We give without expectation. Just give without expectation. That's a good way to live life. Give more than expected. Wow people. Okay? Go above and beyond what they were expecting. I'm looking at you because I remember it's the situation where you went above, you wowed. Okay? You're emotional. Okay? Now, one of the things that I want to touch on is that if there's something bothering you about your BNI membership, if there's something bothering you about a fellow BNI member, if there's something bothering you about a rule or a best practice in BNI, probably all of us can check one of those boxes. I would like you to ask the question, what would happen if I put it through the perspective of giver's gain? Okay? Before I get bothered, let me ask, can I wrap it in giver's gain and change my mindset around it? And I would think in probably 80% of the cases, giver's gain would be the solution for why you're feeling bothered. Okay? Now, getting into the 7 principles, who's timing it? I'm getting on a roll here with you.
You've got 5 minutes.
There it is there. Thank you. You're such a pro, man. Such a pro. Okay. Well, I've got a luxurious amount of time. 5 minutes and 22 seconds. What's that? All right. One of the principles, are they in your light? Okay? What we want, if I stand under this light here, there's only, and everything else was dark, there's only so many people that could join me in my light. So I would suggest you be intentional on your inner circle, the people that you are going to really collaborate in partnership partner with in BNI. Because you can't with the entire region, but be very selective on who is in your light, and then you care for those relationships like they're gold. Okay? If I'm bothered by someone who's in my light, then I made a poor choice inviting them into my light, and then I need to get some skills around how to have a crucial conversation so that we can fix that, so that we can stay in each other's light. Another principle is to stay humble, all right? And I just put in brackets here in my notes, serve, all right? You're here to serve. Serve each other, the rest will take care of itself. Show gratitude. We should be always grateful for the opportunity to be around great people. We have something very special. This isn't my first year in BNI, and I'm connected fairly with a lot of people in the region. There can be a lot of drama in BNI chapters, and we are so fortunate that we have so little of that, all right? But it's up to us to say, I'm feeling some drama, can I wrap it in giver's gain and solve it that way? I talked about the how we can tie this all into making sure that one thing we do really well is our one-to-ones. And it feels like I'm switching gears without the clutch, but I hope it'll come together here. Which is how to make sure that we maximize our time and other people's times with a one-to-one. And I've touched on this. Some of you it'll sound a little familiar. Other new members, it's very important that you capture a few things that I'm going to say here. One is, what's the easiest way to book Chad in my calendar for a 30-minute one-to-one? I need a seamless, simple way for that to happen for both parties. I'll send you my link, or I would say to you, I wouldn't just send my link because that bugs some people. Like, who do you think you are sending me here's my link, or if you prefer to send me yours, I'd be happy to search your calendar and find a spot. Little subtle, but it makes a difference with some high D dominating type of, you're smiling, you know what I'm talking about. Who are you to say book? I'll book you. So anyway, seamless, Zoom link, everything into my calendar. I don't get another thought about it until I get a reminder. You get a reminder that we're meeting in 30 minutes, an hour, 15 minutes, okay? Next is that when you come into that one-to-one, let's set the expectation as far as time. Have you ever gone into a meeting, been a part of a meeting, and have no idea when this is going to end? You're anxious. You're thinking, how long is this going to go? A professional would take control of that and say, sounds like this. Steve, we've booked 30 minutes for our one-to-one. Are you good for the full 30 minutes? Yeah, right, great. I'll keep an eye on that, and I'll make sure we get out at 12 o'clock at the latest. Okay, especially if I've never met, or he's never met me, he's thinking, is this guy going to sell to me for the next 90 minutes? Who knows? I'll keep an eye on it, and I'll have you out on time. It sets the stage really well in sending a message that you're a professional. The next question, which is a game changer, after we set the time, Steve, what are you hoping to get out of our time? I want to make sure I deliver on that. I don't want to make any assumptions. All right? So that starts, and Steve would probably say, well, Scott, I want to learn all about the Breakthrough Hub, want to know, right? And I would say, Steve, that's very generous of you. However, this is our first one-to-one. I've been at this a long time. You're a new member. This needs to be all about you with your permission. And I appreciate you asking, but let's make this all about you. And then we'll schedule another 30 minutes where you can learn about me. All right? That's really important. Senior members, let's make sure that we make it about them. All right? 40 seconds. As I wrap up, intent matters. And people, we have the ability to read people's intention without them saying a single word. All right, so if your intent is to give to people in this meeting, to learn about them, to make their life better, they will sense that. Or if you are entering into this to say, how can I get a sale? Who can they refer me to? They will sense that as well. And it won't go as well. Okay, so intent matters. Be a great listener, ask great questions, and honor people's time, and I'll remind you, if you're feeling bothered by anything B&I related, ask the question, how could I wrap this into this game?
B&I starts now.
B&I starts now. Like everyone says it.
Are we all saying it? I'm confused.
What are you
now.
saying now?
Do we all say B&I?
Oh, terrible.
Starts meow.
Now.
Do you want
You
us to
say
say
it.
B&I?
Say it more casually. Like
Yeah.
we're not trying to rehearse the most impossible phrase in the world.
Now.
Oh,
Now.
B&I
starts now.
Oh.
B&I
starts
Starts
now.
now.
Oh.
What was the best one yet?